well, we're going to pick some bans, guys, on that. Bit of an anticlimactic note there.
Thanks for just de-escalating everything for me right there, Barry.
My bad. I didn't know what you were trying to hit with that reference there. But we have the Rise and Callista bans right.
He has anchors on his shirt, Barry. It wasn't very complicated.
I didn't notice that. Wasn't trying to see. Wasn't seeing where you're going. Okay, so this means that Longzime will be playing Nautilus AP mid.
All right. Perfect.
Is that what you're looking for?
He likes to hint about his team's picks through his outfits. It's always decoding them, which is exciting.
All right, so if there's like gargoyles on it, it'll be Galio.
And IM has picked Galio this season.
Yes, they have. And if it's some sort of like crosses, it'll be Soraka for all the heals.
I don't know if crosses healed people, Barry. They actually were a medieval, like classical torture and murdering device.
But today, which is the present day, instead of you who lives in the past all the time, a cross stands for medicine in terms of the Red Cross. So
interesting how that came about.
Yep.
I wonder what the story behind that is actually.
Well, red is probably for blood, I would imagine. But here we go, the rest of the bands for both the KOO and Longzime, and the Sivir first pick.
KOO's been all over this Sivir recently. Whenever they can get it, they want it. And that means with the Alistar and the Gragas down, they don't see anything of higher priority.
Well, what will Longzhu IM respond with here? Possible.
Now, KOO's been very reliant on Evelynn recently. A lot of Wisdom. That was Wisdom, of course, but a lot of Wisdom's games have been on that champion. And with the lock-in of the Rek'Sai, where is Hojin going to go right now with this draft? The Nautilus, an interesting pickup. That is something that Smeb has liked to play in the top side. We have yet to see Expression play a true tank. Just those Aurelia and Jax games.
Well, Kuro hovering over that Bard and switch it to Yorick.
You never know how Hojin's going to play. He actually plays a lot of off-meta junglers. He's played Nautilus. He's played in the finals. He played Sion.
Yeah, he did.
So
the Sion just seemed like a KOO Tiger special for a while. You get there especially after that mid Sion game versus CJ, where they built the Banner of Command. This team just loves the Banner of Command, if you think about it.
Yes, they do. And Victor locked in for Kuro, of course, a champion that was banned when he started to come out of the bugged state that he was in previously, but Kuro's actually gotten that champion like 4 times in the last 5 games. So it hasn't been banned recently, and they go ahead and just put a premium on that. Kuro was the one who brought Victor into the competitive meta. He was the first one to really start playing it heavily way back in spring, and he's going to be feeling very comfortable on that right now.
Yep, and currently Longzhu IM looking at their mid laners. Ashe the Hover, along with Diana.
New Ashe has still never been played in Korea.
And with the nerfs to Ashe, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you can't stack your Q instantly in a team fight by using the volley of arrows anymore, so it doesn't have the same amount of damage output. Frozen played Azir his last 2 games. Might just go for a very standard composition, take the Corki, and then not show exactly where that Nautilus is going.
Yep, wave clear versus wave clear in the mid lane looks like. And the Azir and the Corki are the picks. Instant Trundle and... Instant
Jungle Trundle.
Well, we have been seeing constant buffs to Trundle over the past couple of patches.
Now, he has played actually with some frequency in LPL, but I'm glad I mentioned the fact that Hojin does weird stuff in the jungle sometimes, because this is definitely one of those times. Gorilla's going to be back on Braum. It is one of those KOO Tiger specials. They're one of the few teams that plays Braum alongside KT.
Wow.
So what is this going to mean? Now, Expression is going to be forced. So either Expression takes the tanky Nautilus and gets all his stats stolen, or they don't go for a tank in this composition, which causes its own problems, because then they don't have any primary form of engage here. Yeah, this may just be a reactionary Vladimir pickup so that Expression can split push long. Expression's mode of choice in terms of playstyle.
And looks like it will be the lock-in. We could possibly see a Maokai jungle along with a top Trundle very possible, but looks like it will be the Trundle jungle.
Yeah, and like you're saying, there have been buffs to the pillar recently. We've seen some more adaptation with the jungle Trundle. I haven't seen any LPL games recently where Trundle was selected as a jungler. He's normally played in the top lane there.
Okay.
But that is interesting. Now, Subjugate was buffed, his R, on 5.12, which is the patch that we're on right now in Korea. So he does have some more health drain out of that. Not sure how effective that's going to be against the composition that IM is running. They didn't expect the Vladimir kind of pivot from IM in the end.
When we saw a large amount of Trundle in the past, it was during that tank meta where we saw a lot of Shyvana and Renekton in the top lane. But now, here are your lineups, guys.
Yeah, and Trundle, his jungle clear is not the fastest either. So he is very good in the late game. And if we talk about what KOO could do, their zone control around objectives, their choke control is crazy. Gravity Field and Trundle Pillar, if they set up on a Baron or a Dragon, it's going to be nearly impossible, especially Dragon, because they're going to be able to take both ramps at the same time from the blue side, and that means Longzhu IM is not going to be able to contest it before it goes down. So we could see some cool stuff here.
Yeah, and they have the Glacial Fissure from Braum. Cool stuff. Lol.
Yeah, cool stuff. All right, well, we're going to get into game one. KOO Tigers versus Longzhu IM. Starting now.
Big cheers from the IM crowd today.
IM always has lots of fans, no matter what. That's the rule, Barry. They've been here forever, and they've never won anything.
They've been here forever?
That's not true. They won IEM Sao Paulo one year.
Yep. Well, they haven't won anything in Korea, though. All right. Well, we're going to see a standard fan with a bit of aggression from the side of KOO.
So Hojin...
That's actually pretty funny.
He's going to dance around with his little slugger Trundle skin. Yeah, I'm curious just because I was wondering if Trundle was going to start to see more use. Like you said, it is an effective counter to a lot of these super tanks, but IM decided to change things up at the last second and use this Vladimir. Now, Vladimir does get a lot of HP, but he also regains it very quickly. Of course, he has that Blood Pact, his passive, where the more AP he gets, the more HP he gets, and vice versa.
And he doesn't build a lot of resist, which is what Trundle's ultimate does steal as well. So, odd pick. Maybe they just want it for the zones. We'll see exactly how they use it.
Now the question here for Tucson is, do you even build Cinderhulk? Maybe you build Warrior Enchant here so that Trundle can do nothing in this game. Trundle highly kiteable, and they have some good tools here to take it out. Kuro just going to laser the Raptors.
Well, they do want to give him an advantage, and we see Ignar trying to aggress on this double jungle here.
Boy. KOO should know better than this than to start.
Well, they're just the ones that started doing this.
I know. They are the kings of being annoying at buffs with Nautilus, stunning you over and over and over again.
Well, Grill's going to do this, and Tucson is very low.
Oh, Tucson going to take some punches right here.
Grill could be in trouble here, though.
He's getting low. Has to use his exhaust. Prey is not going to walk over. I guess they're confident he's going to get out. Yes, the Winter's Bite comes back up. Has to use a summoner, but he does get Vlad and Rek'Sai extremely low.
And Tucson uses Flash for that. It was a very short-range Flash, too, to just keep that red buff on him. Questionable use, especially he wasn't the one that hit the level 2 first.
Yeah, definitely a good summoner trade. That's going to make Kuro feel a lot safer in the mid lane. And in the lane swap, that exhaust probably not going to be useful until it comes back up again anyway.
Indeed.
So this is a definitely decent start so far as we look at our carry rating of damage per minute. Both these guys under average for their position, though.
Interesting matchup there with those statistics. And Smeb takes the blue buff. So I guess they just want him to use as many abilities as he can to break that freeze that has developed.
Yeah, there are 4 people on the top side right now for IM, but there's not really gank pressure because it's a Vladimir in a lane swap. So the kill pressure there very low. And of course, we have seen more and more blue buffs handed over. SKT was doing this the other day to Marin's Maokai, just to make sure that you do have the tools to control the wave a little bit better, and you can just throw out a few saplings early without having to run out of mana and reset the wave.
Yep, Hojin in the top lane, but was seen by a ward. Still has a good position behind Expression and Ignar.
He's on a ward right now. They're going to go back in. There's the frozen domain. Expression just going to pool out. Ice actually bounced there on the... Ooh, they can't go any further, but they did get some good damage down.
Well, I wouldn't be too worried if I was Expression. Has good sustain, and he has a Doran shield along with several potions, so not too big of a deal, I would say.
Well, we haven't really talked about IM's composition. This pivot did shut down the Trundle pick a little bit, but the other thing that it did was left them with 0 primary engage.
Yeah.
They cannot start team fights, really, and Vlad flanks are one of the least scary things in League of Legends because your backline can get out of that really easily, especially if you're talking about having a Sivir who can easily kite a Vlad without Ghost.
Yeah, even though Vlad does get that slow on his pool, not the
Nice
biggest
stun.
slow ever.
Yeah, Prey and Gorilla trading very well up here, just constantly putting down damage. So yeah, this is a composition from IM that may have some problems engaging, especially because, like we talked about, the zone control is absolutely massive from KOO.
Yeah.
You have a Maokai, you have a Trundle, and a Victor, all of which you put down really big zones, either with the threat of crowd control or with just abilities that sit there on the ground. So I'm not sure IM is actually ever going to be able to get any damage down in this composition. They're good at poking, but when it comes to contesting objectives, IM may just find themselves kited to death with a Sivir ult and a Victor laser, because Victor's damage is so huge that it probably can't be matched as long as KOO is kiting. You know, KOO's comp is very similar to comps that Jin Air likes to run.
Kiting comps.
Kiting comps with Victor.
Yep. Well, then what do you do as Longzhu IM if you're lacking this primary engage? Do you just let KOO go for those dragons, but while they go for it, just constantly push up?
Uh-oh, Smeb is here. They've got the speed. Flash twist in advance, and nice pillar. The kill to Hojin, just bottling him up, and they got both summoners from Frozen on that gank. They're going to try and return the damage onto Prey. Prey is dead.
Yep.
So good answer by IM, realizing that Gorilla wasn't there to save him, and
Well, Tucson takes that kill. Maybe not the most ideal person for it to get on, but we'll see if he decides to go for that Warrior Enchant or continues on to that Cinderhulk. He has gone for a Sightstone first rather than upgrading his Machete.
yeah, Tucson really playing for the vision in this game. Very interesting. That's something we rarely see on Rek'Sai's.
Yeah, and he's got very good vision right now. Those deep wards into the blue side jungle of the KOO Tigers, so keeps the top lane safe.
Well, it really helped to enable, I mean, these wards will help to enable future dives.
Well, 1 kill apiece for both team. And yeah, I mean, Expression going for that Hextech Revolver right now. Meanwhile, Corki has his Sheen. So, good items across the board. Most players seem to be on track for their power spikes.
Yeah, they do, and Prey going to be finding himself falling a little bit behind because Sonstar has just been totally left free in this bottom lane to freeze and farm up very casually while Prey had the pressure on him in the top side. So he's going to come back with just that pickaxe. He has to be very careful about how he deals with IM. Could open up a dragon attempt. Looks like we are going to have a little bit of a pause in this game. We'll figure out who's having the issue. Looks like it may be something on the KOO Tigers side.
Well, all right, so looks like Ignar has just left the game.
All right, so we're going to figure out what the issue with Ignar's PC is here on the Nautilus. Nobody's in any threat right now, but better just to check it out immediately. So, yeah, I just don't know about IM. The other big problem is that they don't have any AD. They just have Corki for that, and against a Maokai and a Trundle who are going to get Ultra and a Braum.
Yeah.
I mean, IM is going to, even if they can get in range to actually deal damage, KOO's backline is so insanely safe.
Yep.
against IM's composition. Because even if Azir somehow gets back there, Prey is still going to be safe with the Spell Shield. There's basically no backline threat with IM's composition.
Well, Prey is still going to get knocked back. I saw this interaction, I think, yesterday, where a Silver Spell shielded the Zero, and what happened is that the damage doesn't go through, but the knockback still happens.
Yeah, but here's the problem. To get that knockback, you have to come in and get the knock up with the E first. Otherwise, Silver's just going to flash.
That's true.
So you won't have time to actually combo into the ultimate as long as the flash is available. So yes, that may be a pretty large problem. Looks like we're going to get back in the game. Ignar's issues have been solved, it would seem.
All right. Here we are back in the game, man. Continuing where we left off. Well, let's see if Expression can get a split push on, because that seems like the best answer for LDIM with their lack of engage.
Yeah, that is going to be their major hope, right? Because it's pretty clear that unless the KOO mispositions, that they're not going to be able to win a team fight.
Yeah.
But maybe they can go ahead and split push. Smeb will have a hard time dealing with that come the late game. Depending on how Hojin built, actually Hojin might be able to deal with it, surprisingly, because, Tusa just going to clear a ward. Because if we think about it, if Hojin actually gets into the ultra late game and has to deal with a split push, he's going to have MR and a Spirit Visage. And maybe, if he gets enough money, this is a big maybe, he could get a Hydra. And in that case, no, seriously, in that case, on the frozen domain, if he just runs and ults Vladimir will pull, but he can't get away due to the speed boost, and Trundle will kill him eventually.
Yeah, and especially with that knock-up in his pillar, too.
Yeah.
Knock-up / slow. You know, with that skin, it's less of a pillar and more of a trophy.
It is. It's a big trophy. IM's never actually seen one, but...
Ouch. Shots fired, Monte Cristo. Well, maybe they'll see plenty this game coming out of Hojin. Just knocking them back and slowing them. You know, how does a trophy slow stuff around it? Is it just the glory of the trophy? They're just stopping by to admire it?
They're stunned by its prestige.
By its prestige. Oh, well. Which, long as I will never know. Wow.
To be fair, the only person who's ever seen a trophy on KOO is Prey.
That is true as well. Gorilla came close. Once
upon a champion spring a year ago.
Yep. Alright, well, things have slowed down. No dragons being attempted by either team, and a blue will be handed off right now. So if this laning phase goes longer and longer, which team do you favor, Monte Cristo?
Definitely KOO. Unless Expression could get massively ahead to where he is that big split push monster, but that is a tall order, I think, especially since KOO should have the advantage of the dragon fights in for the majority of this game.
So maybe instead of
Vladimir's not going to be useful in dragon fights early, that's for sure.
Yeah. So instead of the Vladimir, then what do you think KOO should have? Longzhu IM should have picked. Maybe a Rumble, perhaps.
I think Rumble is a good choice. You're still that would actually provide you with more engage than they currently have. I don't know what Expression plays these days, though, is the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know what champions of his are ready for the competitive scene.
Possibly maybe an AD champion that has some sort of engage. Can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
Definitely not a giant battle horse.
Oh, there we go. Who can also split push very well, if you think about it.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure about this Vlad. It's a bit weird. But again, the Vlad... One of the reasons they picked the Vlad was because Trundle is not good against it, so we have to keep that in mind too.
Well, Gorilla sees Tucson around, tries to stop that pink ward from going down, but won't be able to.
You know, theoretically could have been a Fizz, but
true.
The same issues exist of them lacking a primary form of engage.
So the Hecarim probably may have been the most ideal pick here.
Still the drawbacks though, because even if you get into that, if you get into the late game, Hecarim's going to be tanky, and therefore Trundle is going to be very tanky. So I understand why IM played it the way they did. They were kind of backed into a corner, right? And they made this decision, and now we'll have to see if it pans out for them.
Well, Alistar was banned, so there wasn't the possibility of Ignar taking that Alistar anyway. So.
Or Annie.
Or Annie.
Yep.
Yeah, this Trundle pick really threw them off, looks like.
It's hard to pivot on just that last pick. They tried to be sneaky and flex the Nautilus, but it didn't work.
Well, looks like KOO is starting to set up some deep vision to maybe contest this dragon or possibly take it. However, they're just establishing position, not much else going on. Uneventful game so far.
Yep, but for KOO, it just needs to be all about taking these dragons. They're going to have the pressure right now. They're going to have the Scuttle Crab. They can totally just do the dragon at the moment, kind of dare someone to face check in. You can see Kuro walking there. Looks like he's just on a Hojin protection mission for the moment. And no, they're not going to even put any pressure on. They simply want to go take out the Krugs and wait for the wave to come pile back. And, you know, Prey's in a better position now that he has the BF sword, but still just a hair behind in terms of CS.
Yeah, and it looks like it is, in fact, the Cinder Hulk for this Rek'Sai. Tucson probably just sticking to the build path that he practiced. The Warrior Enchant may have just thrown him off his game a little bit.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of risks, and I would not recommend rain overing it and going for Warrior Enchant like every game on Rek'Sai. I think that's not a good plan. Look at this, Tucson with a very nice invade. Victor is in the top side. They're going to try and hunt down Expression. Expression trying to get away through the enemy jungle right now. I don't think he's going to make it, but they're going to take the dragon as a result.
Well, Expression very, very low. His flash has just been used.
Moving forward.
Run, Expression, run.
Oh, dragon
boy.
buff. And now the fight, actually, KOO deciding to engage on this in of the bottom side. I don't know about this. Smeb comes in, but Smeb is going to get very low, and KOO trying to fight on the other side of the map in a 4v4 ends up in a disaster. 2 for 4 and a dragon for IM. I am so surprised that Smeb would go in on that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see the replay to see exactly how it started. Maybe Smeb saw an opportunity for a pick, but then just got overzealous.
Well, the fact that, you know, Frozen didn't even have to burn his barrier right there is a bit surprising. And sure, I know what they were thinking. Let's kill Vladimir and then let's surprise them and kill them on the other side of the map too. But considering that Prey was losing lane and Kuro wasn't there.
And Corki had a Sheen in that fight too.
Corki definitely stronger. And it was basically 2 damage dealers down there compared to just 1 of Prey.
So Expression's death, you know, turned out to be well worth it in the end.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, just a dragon would have been worth it too, but looks like 4 kills on top of that. I would take that any day.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's huge for IM.
Well, unfortunately, a bunch of those kills rather, 2 of them I think, went on to the support and the jungler, so maybe not the most ideal place, but Expression looks like he's in a lot of trouble.
And you just can't get out of this. Everybody is too fast. There's too much crowd control. You are going to go down if you're pushed out. You don't have... He's going to run around in circles.
Trying to drag it out as long as possible.
Yeah, might as well. Good gank there from Hojin. Expression just moving up way too far without vision in the top side and without that flash. And that's the problem with top lane Vladimir, is Ghost is very useful on Vlad. In fact, way more useful than it is on most other champions.
So instead of flash, maybe the teleport Ghost, but I guess that would leave you very vulnerable to any sort of ganks that come out of the enemy without that flash. Alright, Expression comes back in with the teleport.
Looking for a bit of dirty farming there. Now, Sonstar's at a big power spike, so if IM can convert this to some more turret pressure and start to use this Azir and the Corki together, they can pull away with this game.
However, Frozen seems to be very chunked out and has to back away as Kuro moves forward, but just the blue buff handoff here.
I guess, Barry, we're never going to know what happened to Dragon.
Seriously.
It's a mystery for the ages.
Well, we'll just say that Smeb got overzealous and just leave it at that, maybe.
It's just funny, too, because the Trundle, a champion that needs other people to scale before he scales. His ult is tied to other people's itemization.
It's an interesting champion. Probably very unique. Would like to see more of him. Especially, I'm surprised we didn't see more of him during the Hyper Tank meta.
Watch LPL. He was just played in Demacia Cup in IG versus EDG today.
Oh, did IG win that series, or did they just take only one game off that? I think I saw the small bits of results for that.
All right. Spoiler alert. Please cover your ears if you do not want me to talk about this. All right. It was EDG 3-1.
Okay.
And Z-Type played it, but he lost.
Oh, it's die.
Well, thanks for asking about spoilers on a broadcast, Barry. Jeez.
Hey, I don't believe in spoilers.
Yep, you don't. Snape kills Dumbledore.
Yep. Oh boy. I remember the stories that came out when that book came out. Just like a bunch of people managed to like read ahead of time and just like walk by the lines for the midnight releases and just yell Snape kills Dumbledore. And apparently there was a lot of crying by a lot of kids because of that spoiler.
That is sad, I guess. I mean,
you know, a lot of people were emotionally invested into that series, though.
Yeah, but it's terrible.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people were emotionally invested into Twilight.
You know what? I haven't seen or read Twilight. I never intend to in my entire life.
Yeah.
But you know what was so depressing about Harry Potter?
What?
Is that there was a chance to actually make Voldemort like a real person.
We've had this discussion before, yeah.
And instead he's like some sort of cartoon villain that was like evil from birth. I'm like, you had a chance to make an actually interesting character, a nuanced character. Anyway, that's why I hate that series, because the entire thing boils down to like Harry Potter fighting a piece of cardboard with like a spooky grin painted on his face. It's terrible.
Without a nose.
Yeah.
So it's essentially fighting Michael Jackson, I feel like. Oh, wait, was that too far? Was that too soon?
No, it's not. It's fine.
Okay, good.
I actually think that the Philip Pullman, his Dark Materials trilogy, are like a million times better than Harry Potter, but that's just me.
Yep, I love that series myself. You know, favorite book out of that was probably, I would say probably the last book was probably the best.
Yeah, that movie was terrible, though.
That movie was god-awful. You know, I was so excited when I saw Daniel Craig as
I know, right?
I was like, Daniel Craig is like the father, and then you have like, what was it, Nicole Kidman as the mother?
Cast. Great cast.
Oh man, that was actually a huge spoiler. Oh my. Why did I just say that? Oh my lord.
Barry, stop it. Stop it, Barry.
I just realized it as I said it. Oh my lord.
All right, we're done with that. We can't talk about fiction any longer, otherwise Barry will spoil it.
No. I'm going to give out one more spoiler. They kill God in the end.
Thanks, Barry.
All right, well.
All right, here we're going to go on to Expression. There's the Sivir ultimate, going to dodge the Boomerang Blade with the pool. Expression going to flash over the wall, takes an extra turret hit, though.
He just stops. He knows he's dead.
Stops as the trophy blocks his path. So Prey gets back into this game with a kill with the Infinity Edge.
No, he didn't stop because the trophy blocked his path. He stopped so he could see the trophy, revel in its glory, and then go down.
All right. And now a TP play just to save the Tier 2. KOO Tigers trying to react, and they're going to take a Tier 1 of their own. So interesting play, but they burn a teleport in order to make it, and therefore give Expression the TP advantage once he revives. KOO doing very well in this mid lane, actually.
Well, even with the TP advantage to Expression, it's not like Longzhu IM can do very much with it. And 0-3-1 Vladimir, not going anywhere right now.
Right, and looks like some poke battles around this pink ward. Ooh. Frozen eats another Death Ray, but Gorilla takes about half his HP and damage from those Sand Soldiers as Frozen just pops back under his turret away from the gravity field. So, yeah, this is turning around a little bit for KT. They've actually closed the gold gap slightly.
KT isn't playing this game.
KOO, I wish they were. I actually really am excited to see KOO versus KT again.
Yeah, I'm also excited to see KOO versus SKT as well. Going to be a big match.
Everybody loves the Peekaboo now.
Oh, man. Well, Prey going to take another tower and get the solo gold to himself. So a lot of gold onto the Sivir.
Prey actually just went top, took a Tier 1, and then rotated bottom and took a Tier 1. And this is what I'm talking about. KOO is very good at getting lane assignments. Frozen tries for an all-in with the flash, but Gorilla's there to back his mid laner up, but this may mean that IM gets 2 blue buffs.
And Corki has finished that Trinity Force, so they're looking to make a big push onto this top tier too. Seems like a good idea, but will KOO get there in time to defend? Nope, Longzhu IM just backs off.
Yeah, Expression starting to power up just a little bit, getting into that split push form. The fact that 2 dragons have already gone over to IM, though, is problematic for the KOO Tigers because they're not going to be able to just force their way with a bunch of dragon stacks into the main base with the dive.
Well, we'll see if Longzhu IM can maintain those dragon stacks and hope maybe get a bit of a turnaround with the 5 dragon stacks.
I mean, regardless of what happens, IM is looking a million times better now than they did at the start of this season.
Oh yeah, much better. I mean, Apple seemed like such a good pickup initially, but then he just didn't pan out. But yeah, Expression looking much, much better.
Yeah, there's something about, I think a lot of factors came into play. First off, of course, with kind of Ignar as a rookie coming into his own, Tucson changing positions, having to acclimate to the jungle, which really wasn't going well for him at first, but it's going great for him in this game. He's had some good ganks. He's been there in the team fights. So I think there were multiple things that kind of came together simultaneously here after the first round robin was completed, and resulting in this new IM, which is definitely on a big upswing.
Man, look at both of these junglers and Aegis of the Legion at 20 minutes. They know what's up.
They do well. Very important against IM to have that Aegis.
Yeah, and against KOO Tigers too as well, because they do have a lot of AoE magic damage, especially with the Maokai, the Vengeful Maelstrom on top of the Chaos Storm from Kuro. So definitely a good pickup for both sides.
Indeed. Well, we're not going to see another dragon for a while.
You know, Monte Cristo, you know what other champion would be a very good communist skin?
What?
I would say Azir. All of his science soldiers are actually the workers.
Wow. I mean, that is actually kind of accurate to Russian history, where they would just, you know, in the world wars, they would just take the peasants and then just have them charge the enemy with, like, farm implements.
The militias.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty dark though, Barry. I don't think we want to really remember those times.
Well, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it, Monte Cristo. So give us a reminder of the history through League of Legends.
It is therefore League of Legends' responsibility to prevent future mass death of peasants in World War III. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Barry. It is the most popular video game in the world. It would actually have very long-reaching...
Yep.
Interesting. Well, Riot is now your ethical duty to remind everybody of history.
Well, we have Riot Games already reminding professional teams of what their ethical duties are, so why not move on to the player base?
Yep.
If they are such a player-focused company that they claim they are.
Yes, so they can just go ahead and take that history lessons within League of Legends. They added to the lore, too.
Oh, boy.
So, next dragon setup going to be here in 40 seconds. And IM looking to clear out some wards in advance. They have that Corki Azir combination, so any movement out of the mid lane from KOO could be immediately punished, even though that tower does have a lot of health on it. Kuro no blue buff right now, so he has to be a little bit conservative with his mana. Well,
Dragon up in 15. Expression still trying to farm up a Storm. He's trying to move into his Zhonya's Hourglass, and I think he'll have it fairly soon. He's been sitting on that Neely's Ladraj for a very long time.
Yeah, Smeb's got his TP up now, alongside Expression, so both top laners. But this is the position that KOO wants to be in the river, with the Pillar of Ice and the Gravity Field, so they can actually just make plays on both chokes from the blue side at the same time.
So if you're Longzhu IM, you know, in order to prevent the double block on the chokes, do you just move forward as aggressively as you can before they get into position?
Yeah, you need to be in position first, and you need to be ultra careful that you don't retreat into a choke point while that's going down, because Gorilla still has the option to flash ult you too. So
yeah,
they have to be so cautious in this particular circumstance. And we do see Smeb, he's just waiting for it in the base right now. I am doing the smart thing, just continually pushing up the mid wave.
Well, Expression wasn't showing himself on the map to also threaten a teleport himself, however, has shown in the lane.
All right, Kuro actually gets hooked right there, and a huge play. Kuro nearly dying instantly, gets the Chaos Storm down there before he actually dies, and that's going to be a kill under Rek'Sai, but it's still a big melee. Smeb is in the front, like Kuro is still going to be able to poke from the rear. Expression is Zonya in pool, that gets killed on the outside of it, and there goes the KOO Tigers. They turn around the fight. Kuro magically doesn't die right there, and that makes all the difference.
And he also magically didn't get knocked away by the Azero. It looked like he had taken the damage but hadn't moved a single inch.
Yeah, and he didn't have a Zonya, so I need to see that again. I'm not exactly sure how that happened.
Well, maybe it just missed him, but it looked for sure that Frozen had landed his combo correctly.
Well, I mean, that engage right there was a pretty big investment from IM. Now they're going to try and push down the mid turret in response.
They should be able to get it.
They're going to get it. Everybody too low from KOO, and they have to wander around the outside. So IM trading an objective. That looks up just a little bit for them.
It looks like they're going to take this blue buff as well. So another blue buff denial on Kuro.
Also just a misplay there from Expression using the Zonias while in pool. You want to use it after you get out of the pool so you maximize your time that you're untargetable, clearly.
Well, he was almost out of the pool, so I think that's what he was timing, to be honest. But, well, always room for improvement. And Sansa just going to take all the buffs on the Rift.
Well, at least IM came out of that with some objectives, even if the Dragon goes over to KOO and they start to build upon a gold lead.
Yeah, 1K gold lead for the KOO Tigers. And starting to look maybe a little dicey for Longzhu IM, but if Expression can get big enough and, you know, they pick the right fights, I can still see them winning, but it'll be an uphill battle.
I really think that comes down to KOO's positional errors, though, more so than anything else.
And KOO team just generally very good at positioning too. But Frozen, it looks so good when it started too for Frozen. And I hope we see the replay, see what happened, but at this point I don't think we are.
We're just not going to get a no replays today,
Yeah.
guys. Sorry, don't know what's going on.
Well,
I actually would love to have seen both of those team fights again, so I had a chance. Oh, I have no idea what happened in the first one.
yeah.
Besides the fact that Smeb decided to break off the chase while Kuro killed Expression and then teleported in.
Well, looks like KOO Tigers looking to push this tier 2 in the bottom lane. 4-man strong. Expression uses his ultimate to try to zone them off.
I don't know if that's a good use of Hemo Plague right there. When there's no follow-up damage, you're not very scary at this point in the game in terms of the base damage on Hemo Plague. So it's only really useful in terms of a damage amp. And that isn't going to help.
Well, it did scare off the KOO Tigers, so it served its purpose.
Yeah, until they decide to go after the Baron right here and you don't have Hemo Plague anymore.
Well, looks like that is another 100 seconds on the Hemo Plague of Expression. And KOO Tigers just looking to push the mid lane though. They don't want to commit to anything crazy like a Baron attempt right now.
Oh, but they should.
Oh, but they should.
That should be their entire goal right now, is forcing IM to fight them.
Well, I think the KOO Tigers are trying to do that by forcing fights at turret and sieging them. And looks like they're in very good position. They're going to get a lot of damage onto this mid-tier, onto this bottom tier 2 rather.
The Tigers are so good at methodically getting objectives and out-rotating people on the map to come back into games. I mean, we see that this game very heavily. Even them right there, just using the recall timings to maintain the pressure and just constantly being elusive and choosing the right fights in the mid-game.
Yep, and Victor will be split pushing, and Longzhu goes for the engage.
And there we go, Gorilla getting hooked, but Ignar has nothing left, actually. Prey is just going to free auto attack in the back. Oh, man, easiest fight ever for Prey. And Kuro there from the flank forces Expression to go into that pool, and then Zonya's. And will he die when he comes out? Chaos Storm still turning, but 2 members die, actually. Prey and Gorilla bite the dust. Smeb barely getting out, so they maintain their position around that Azir turret. It looks like Frozen managed to bounce them back into it.
Well played by Frozen.
Yeah, Frozen really turned that around. They could have backed off and just gone for the tower. KOO just trying to pull the minion wave right now so that they can't siege with the Corki and Azir, who are still super dangerous in that regard.
Yeah, and Sansa is so strong right now. Triforce, Last Whisper, and the Blade of the Ruined King, and this tower goes down like it's butter.
Yeah, nice turnaround from Incredible Miracle, saving that Azir passive for the fight, and then using it to turn the tides while KOO overcommits.
Yep, and it looks so bad when it started, but
it could still be bad. Here we go. Smeb wants to come in. He is going to get slowed up. Ignar's E, and now Smeb has to go under the turret. KOO's going to try and get the kill right here, but Ignar just too damn tanky.
Well, that is a teleport down, and Expression has his own teleport, and Longzhu Iron will have that advantage, and Hemoplague back up now.
You are really not afraid of Expression in this game, though.
Yeah.
He's a 0-4-1 Vladimir who has TP. So bouncing Tucson with the Arcane Smash. KOO needs to go back and stock up on some items and mana.
However, what is scary still is that damage amp on Hemoplague going across all the members of KOO Tigers, and then Frozen just chunking everybody.
Yes, that is scary. Expression is scary for a 5-man ult. That's about it, though.
Well, let's see if he can farm up a little more to hopefully put him in that territory where he's a real threat. But right now, he's looking for the Void Staff.
Yep, and did manage to get the split push on the dragon early. So KOO setting up around the dragon is going to take a little bit extra time, but those minions going to be moved out now. Expression wants to keep split pushing here, maybe even threatening the Baron. He's actually very good at doing a Baron.
Yeah, credit to Expression though. 0-4-1, but still maintaining only a 20 CS deficit. So he's been trying to keep himself in this game as much as possible.
Okay, KOO wants this. They're going to be seen. This is a great position for KOO, able to kite right now. TP coming in from the front, so that's going to be really kiteable as IM goes in, and there's Smeb already on top of Ignar. KOO and Prey all in the back line, but Expression trying to zone him out right now, already uses Zonias. No one has even touched Smeb in that front line. Goodbye, Expression. And that is why you can't engage KOO Tigers from the front with this composition. There is just no backline threat unless KOO and Prey face check it as ooh. Good denial of the recall and flash.
Well, yeah, no, it looked like Frozen had a lot of, was getting a lot of free hits in the back, but he just wasn't doing enough damage to Smeb and Hojin there.
No, they're way too tanky, and without the backline threat, Prey and KOO will put out much more damage.
Well, Tucson trying to put himself in position for a possible Baron steal. He's got to do something, otherwise this will be a death knell for him, but
You were saying?
Yep.
He had to go for it. It was a nice try.
Yeah.
But take a look at what happens actually in this fight. So they get the dragon, then they immediately turn on. Oh, the ult was wasted on Gorilla from Nautilus. And then right here, KOO and Prey just can stand there and kill Expression because Expression just can't do damage in the back line.
Yeah.
And the tank line is way too big.
Yeah, Frozen was getting so many free hits with the Sand Soldiers, and it just didn't do anything.
And if you're Frozen, you're in a rough spot. He doesn't have a Zonias, so if he goes in, he just dies.
Yeah. It looks like he's trying to build that right now. So do you get a Liandry's Torment this game? On Azir?
Or on Vlad.
Or on Vlad? Why not both?
Why not both? I think it's probably more useful on Vlad. But especially because there's a higher synergy with HP items on
definitely.
HP AP items on Vlad.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think maybe that might be not too bad of an idea, but he's obviously very far away from getting that.
Yeah, 0-5-1 Expression. Not having the best game. Got denied very, very hard on that top lane Vladimir. And this is why we haven't seen that much top lane Vladimir in Korea.
I think it's actually really bad, personally.
Yeah.
I think maybe next patch with some of the changes to AP itemization, it could be good, but there isn't enough upside to his split pushing to justify the pick.
Oh, here he goes. Expression looks like he's gonna die again here. His Zhonya's Hourglass is up, but that's just gonna leave him right for the picking. And KOO picks off Expression once again, and we'll take this turret.
They're gonna take the inhibitor to boot. That will fall very, very quickly. And to be fair to Expression and IM, I don't think they came in tonight planning to play top lane that
No,
Vladimir.
yeah.
I think this was just a reaction in the heat of the moment to the Trundle pick.
So do you think they should just gone with the original game plan? I know hindsight is 20/20, but what do you think? Should just go with a standard tank, have something with a little more kill pressure and engage?
I think you just go for Hecarim here and say screw it, because all Hecarim needs is that one engage onto Victor, which is he's a bit of a sitting duck onto for a devastating charge. And then you chunk out the Victor, and then it doesn't really matter as much if the Trundle steals all your tankiness.
Yeah. Well, Longzhu IM in a bad
TP.
spot right now.
Smeb's just going to walk through right onto Frozen, forces the Emperor's Divide to be used. Frozen's going to pop out of that fight, but KOO just wants the inhibitor. Gorilla with his Unbreakable up, blocking what he can. Smeb trying to get out with the Righteous Glory. He will disengage eventually with the help of the Face of the Mountain from Gorilla, as KOO just steamrolling at this point.
Yeah, Hojin's been using his pillar very, very well in these fights. And he's knocked up Sansar on that one, leaving him to take a huge, huge chunk from the Boomerang Blade of Prey.
And Hojin also has contributed to 12 out of the 13 kills thus far in this game. So
5-1-7.
he's been a major player. Okay, it's not actually that hard to get assists on Trundle, it's true.
But kills like that,
Yeah.
I guess he just picks them up too. But he is so big right now. He is a very, very tanky Trundle.
Right, and he's actually able to steal some meaningful stats from Tucson at this stage.
Well, looks like this game is in a very, very bad way for Longzhu IM. What can you do if you're Longzhu IM moniker? So
Nope, nothing.
nothing is over.
It is over.
Didn't you know fans get very mad at you when you call games over before they're actually over?
Yeah, I just don't like lying to the fans, Barry. I'm an honest guy.
Okay. Well,
I mean, they don't even have the tools to make a pick, is
That
the
is
problem.
the only thing they have possibly
Okay,
is
the way
Nautilus.
they get back into this game is Expression has some sort of like absolutely nuts flank where he comes in from behind and like Hemo plagues everybody, and then Frozen sort of just like flashes it and then ults them all. I mean, there would have to be some crazy AOE to really do the damage necessary.
So the only chance Longzhu IM has is a crazy wombo combo.
And then Sansar happens to have a big one loaded up and just
And
goes
hits
into
5 people. Oh, man.
And Ignar uses the depth charge, so it knocks up 4 people.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's what it's going to take.
Well, in the ideal world, Longzhu IM would have a chance. But it is not this world, Monte Cristo.
It's not the parallel universe, perhaps. And here we go. Just going to dive now that they know they're on the turret. And there's nothing IM can do. That the Sivir ult has been popped. Maybe they could try and turn around. There's a nice Hemo plague, actually, but there comes Prey and KOO just going to flash right out of it. And again, KOO and Prey just left untouched in the back line. Frozen pops his Zhonya's Hourglass, finally has one. He is going to flash out and then use his Q and his W and his E, rather, to get back to the fountain. Try and get a kill on him with that trophy. It's just not going to be enough. KOO Tiger is going to take game 1. Another impressive display of shot calling from behind. Some questionable fights early from the KOO Tigers, but they really did pull it together.
Yeah, I really wonder what happened in that dragon fight for the first dragon. Was it the first dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think that was a bit of overconfidence.
yeah, well, the KOO Tigers has these moments, right? I was talking with their manager a while back, and she was saying that Smeb and Prey, sometimes they just have a little bit too much fun in games and just go for some crazy, crazy moves. But then they bring it back. So well played, KOO Tigers.
Indeed.